Let us enter into part 4 of Judges. Alright. Okay, let's start off with our quote here. We have, this is from Hillary, 1870 to 1953. It says, "Child, do not throw this book about. Refrain from the unholy pleasure of cutting all the pictures out. Preserve it as your chiefest treasure." This is from Bad Child's Book of Beasts dedication. Alright. "Child, do not throw this book about. Refrain from the unholy pleasure of cutting all the pictures out. Preserve it as your chiefest treasure." Okay. So, the only book that I could think of that's relevant to me, or books, right, are the spiritual and biblical and faithful texts, right? The ones that refer to Allah or God, right? The one, the holy. I try my best, right, not to cut any of the pictures out for you. I give you the full view and the full feeling that I receive. Sometimes it's a little difficult, I'm not going to lie, but this is a journey that we're going on together, right? And I do treasure it, hence why I'm here every day, giving you all I have to say. It is the chiefest treasure to me. Very important. All right. Let's go ahead and start with chapter 6. We are going to learn about Gideon, the prophet, right? The judge, the redeemer of the people of Israel. He has a longer story that will be broken up into several parts here. But let's go ahead and start with the introduction. It says, "The Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and for 7 years he gave them into the hands of the Midianites. When the Israelites cried out to the Lord because of Midian, he sent them a prophet who said, 'This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought you up out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. I said to you, I am the Lord your God. Do not worship the gods of the Ammorites, in whose land you live. But you have not listened to me.'" So here we go. We hear about Gideon. And what does he use to go ahead and appeal to the Israelites? He uses the book, right? He uses the book, the scriptures, the texts that were around, that have been existing, right? So it's hard to me to conceive the Israelites going so far off the beaten path. But again, he's saying, these are the gods of the land in whose land you live. So it's difficult when there's cultural influences going on. I understand that part, how it can be difficult to be the outcast, right? Nobody wants to be the outcast. They want to be a part of the community in some way. And of course, that drive to, be faithful to the Lord might be lost over a few generations. So we have to just get back on track in this sense, right? And it says here, Gideon replied, "If now I have found favor in your eyes, give me a sign that it is really you talking to me." So we talked about this, right? Asking the Lord for a sign. So Gideon is asking the Lord for a sign. It says here, "That same night the Lord said to him, 'Take the second bull from your father's herd and the one 7 years old. Tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it.'" So here, actually before, when Gideon asked for a sign, the Lord sent down an angel to him, and Gideon essentially told the angel to wait here, don't go anywhere until I get my offering for you. And so the angel did listen to Gideon, and the angel waited. When Gideon returned with his offering, he presented it in front of the angel, and he essentially bursted into flames. That was the sign. That was the message. And it was such a bold, kind of grand gesture on behalf of Gideon and the angel. It, of course, resonated with Gideon deeply, right? Like, I don't think Baal and Asherah had angels just running around. That's just not how that worked, right? So we have here, so Gideon took 10 servants and did as the Lord told him. But because he was afraid of his family and the townspeople, he did it at night rather than in the daytime. So the Lord had told him, so you see my sign, go ahead and take down your father's altar to Baal. Go destroy the Asherah pole beside it. So Gideon did, right? And he took 10 people with him. So there are, moments of influence that Gideon has. That's one thing we'll learn about him, is he has, people behind him and people that do want to follow the one true God. But, it's just hard to gather everyone together without a central focus or a leader. So Gideon has these 10 people go with him. They destroy the altar. After that, of course, the father is mad. The townspeople are mad. They are, really wanting to attack and kill Gideon. But Gideon, in faith to the Lord, he is just trying to build up that foundation and relationship. And eventually we'll learn that Gideon overtakes all of the Midianites, including some of his family that was not on his side. So it says here, Gideon said to God, if you will save Israel by my hand as you have promised. Here's a test. Look, I will place a wool fleece on the threshing floor. If there is dew on the fleece and all the ground is dry, then I know you will save Israel by my hand as you said. So here goes the sprinklers. Anyways, here he gives the Lord a test. He's like, please, let me do what I'm feeling to do, and please show me a sign that I should go ahead and go through with this. Because, of course, he's probably a little bit timid of this, or, hesitant to go through with basically another war. But the goal is to save Israel, and that is what he's trying to get at. So he places the wool fleece on the floor, and of course he wakes up the next morning and the wool has dew on it, but the rest of the ground around the wool is dry. And it's not mentioned in my synopsis here, but in recollection and not wanting to leave any of the pictures out, they also did an opposite test. So he said, we'll do another test. If the wool on the ground is dry and the rest of the ground around it has dew, then I will also know. So they did that as well, and it also had happened. So I had talked to you a little bit about, not being afraid to, open the line of communication with God, number one. Invite him into your heart and, ask some kind of, question or test, or do something that's sacred maybe between you and the Lord. And if you're having a difficulty in making any kind of decision, or, you need some help, call out to the Lord. We found that works, right? Calling out to the Lord and, being vulnerable with him. And every time that the Israelites had called out to the Lord, that is when he comes, right? Doesn't matter what they've done or, what evil that they have committed, the Lord comes. Just call out to him. So some insight there. I know it's pretty straightforward, but a lot of us, as we're reading, we're so involved in the narrative itself, we forget to actually apply what we're reading to the life of, the current life, right? Our lives. So, that's just a little short message for you today. We're going to go into a bit longer section of Gideon if I have the time tomorrow. The transcription is done, so it shouldn't be too difficult, but we're going to get really into the meat and potatoes of it all. But that's really all I got for you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.